Hey, what's going on, everybody? Commander Crane here, and we're back with another deck tech. So, before we hop into this here, like, subscribe. It's really, really helpful for the channel. Knows that people are watching my videos. Also, if there's a deck you want to see personally in our deck tech videos, or if you have a sweet deck that you want to share with us, put it in the comments below. I'll check it out, and hey, maybe your deck will be in the next video. So, okay. We're going to hop right into it here. So, Gruul Dinos, that's what we're talking about today. In the past, I've done a Gruul Dinos deck tech for Pioneer, and I guess technically Explorer too. But I know that was a while ago. We're going to go over our updated list right now. A lot of things have changed for the most part. How I want to play the deck, build the deck, has changed a lot in the metagame since our last video. Overall, there's cards that have gotten better, cards that have gotten worse. Overall, the deck gets a little bit bigger, which we'll kind of go more into detail on that in a second here. But overall, this is going to be our list here, so we're just going to hop right into the creatures. All right, so obviously we're a Gruul deck. We have our standard 4 Land War Elves. So for those who have not watched our other video on this, at the time we were playing 4 Land War Elves and 2 Elvish Mystics. I decided that was a bit too repetitive. So we trimmed it down to just 4 Land War Elves. We're not playing any Elvish Mystics. But, of course, obviously, we're still playing 4 Marauding Raptor. So for those who aren't aware, I've talked a lot about this card on streams and different videos. Marauding Raptor is absolutely an incredible Magic card. So for those who don't know what it does, it's a 2/3 for 2. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Marauding Raptor deals 2 damage to it. If a dinosaur was dealt damage, Marauding Raptor gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So, Marauding Raptor is a very, very, very unique card in Magic as a whole. Not just in the deck, not just in the tribe. Well, in the tribe technically, yes. But this card is extremely unique. So, Marauding Raptor, 2/3 for 2. Obviously, that's an amazing rate. It's, in a way, a mana dork that's aggressive, which most mana dorks, as you know, like Sylvan Carrier did, Land Orbs, they're not aggressive and making mana. This card does that, does both of that. So this card is absolutely incredible. It's the best card in the deck. If you have a 3-lander with a Marauding Raptor, it's going to be a keep almost every time. This card is just that good. Obviously, we're playing 4 of it. This is what really makes the deck work for the most part. If we didn't have Marauding Raptor, this deck would be significantly worse. We love Marauding Raptor. That's why we're playing it. So, we go to 2 Colossus. So, I know what you're saying, well, it's not a dinosaur. You're right, it's not a dinosaur. But that's how good it is. So, Colossus, obviously incredible. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, exile a card from a graveyard. If it's a land, you make red or green. If it's a not land, you gain 2 life and deal 2 damage to each opponent. So this card's absolutely incredible. Hoses graveyard decks, really good against other aggro decks, good against midrange, it's good against control. It's good against literally everything. That's why we're playing 2 Colossus. This card, you never board it out. I mean, I think the only time you really board it out is if you're playing against combo that doesn't use the graveyard. That's probably like the only time. So like against Lotus combo, you maybe would want to bring it out. But that's really about it though. This card, absolutely incredible. If you're playing Gruul and Pioneer, you have to play this card. It's absolutely insane. So that's all we have for 3 drops. So we're going to hop right into our 4 drops. Ripjaw Raptor. 4/5 for 4. Whenever it's dealt damage, draw a card. So obviously you might see, well, okay, whenever it's dealt damage, draw a card. Synergizes really well with Marauding Raptor. So if you have turn 2 Marauding Raptor, play the Ripjaw on 3, then it deals the 2 damage to the Ripjaw Raptor, giving Marauding Raptor +2/+0, then you get to draw a card. Absolutely incredible. I think Marauding Raptor was essentially made to be able to work really well with all the enraged creatures from Ixalan. Overall, just wow. Wow. Incredible card. I love Ripjaw Raptor. I mean, the card's absolutely a hoser. I mean, just drawing a card, absolutely incredible. 4/5. So it's really hard for removal spells to be able to kill it. I know a lot of people are starting to play like cards like Lava Coil, for instance. You know, Lava Coil doesn't kill it. About the only efficient way is about Fateful Absence and Fatal Push with the Revolt. Other than that, this card is awesome. I love it against mono red. It is, I mean, odds are with mono red, you're going to get at least a 3-for-1. Most of the time, they're going to have to be using a creature, and they're going to have to be using 1 or 2 removal spells, and on top of that, you're also going to be drawing multiple cards. So, Ripjaw Raptor, Awesome. Love the card. So then we're going to go into Shifting Ceratops. We're playing 4 Shifting Ceratops. 5/4 for 4. Can't be countered. Protection from blue. You can tap a green, give it Vigilance. No, sorry, not Vigilance, I wish. Reach, Trample, or Haste until end of turn. In many ways, I like to call this the green Stormbreath Dragon. This card's absolutely incredible. I mean, Reach, Trample, Haste. I mean, it's good. You want it to be aggressive. Obviously, you've got that. You need to be defensive. It can do that too. Protection from blue and can't be countered. It's a control deck's worst nightmare. I mean, like blue-white control. I mean, man, they better hope they have exactly Fateful Absence or Wandering Emperor. Otherwise, I mean, they're just going to die to this card. The protection from blue is obviously really good, especially against Mono Blue Spirits. Spoiler alert, Mono Blue Spirits cannot answer this card. If you play this card against them on, like, turn 3, turn 4, odds are they're probably not going to be able to win. If you play 2 of them, they're essentially just dead. I mean, they got nothing. They got nothing going on. So I love Shifting Ceratops. It's a 4-of. Card is absolutely bonkers. So we're going to go into our only 5-drop here, Regisaur Alpha. 4/4 for 3, red and green. Other dinosaurs you control have haste. When it enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 green dinosaur with trample. So again, works really, really well with Marauding Raptor. So if you really get the really good hand, you can go turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Raptor, and then turn 3 Alpha, which is absolutely insane. You get 2 triggers with the Marauding Raptor. You're swinging for 9. Overall, just really, really good. I mean, I love Regisaur Alpha. Giving our other dinosaurs haste is awesome. Plus, you're getting 7/7 worth of power and toughness for 5 mana. That's an amazing rate. Regisaur Alpha, absolutely incredible card. I love playing it. Just, wow. I would say, in terms of power level in this deck, it's probably the second best dinosaur. But that's to be debated for the most part. But we love it. We're playing 4. So, now we're moving to 2. We only have 2 6-drops in the deck. My favorite card, you know it, Carnage Tyrant. What a card. 7/6 for 6, can't be countered, trample, hexproof. So I'm personally kind of a sucker for basic card design. And this is probably one of the most powerful basic cards of all time. I mean, just 7/6 for 6, pretty darn good rate, can't be countered, see it control decks, trample, and hexproof. I mean, mid-range has a really hard time beating this. Control has a really hard time beating this. I mean, even aggro. I mean, if you get this against aggro, I mean, it's hard for them to get through it too. So I love Carnage Tyrant. We're playing 2 this time as opposed to just the 1. We bumped up our land a little bit. We're playing 2 Carnage Tyrants. This card is absolutely incredible in the metagame right now. Against Black-Red, they just lose to this. They essentially have to have Liliana down tick, otherwise this card is just going to trash them. Against Blue-White Control, it says, okay, where's your Supreme Verdict? Oh, you don't have it? Okay, well, then you're dead. Overall, Carnage Tyrant is an incredible Magic card. I love Carnage Tyrant. I love it in this deck. We're playing 2. Awesome. Then we have 2 Ghalta Primal Hungers, our 12-drop. Yeah, we're playing 2 12-drops, but most of the time it's not really 12 mana. So it's really simple. Green, and 10 for 12/12 of trample. But this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. Well, would you look at it? We're playing 7/6s, 4/4s, 5/4s, 4/5s. I mean, Ghalta's never going to cost more than 4 mana most of the time in this deck. With Ghalta, especially having Regisaur Alpha into Ghalta, most of the time that's probably just game against most decks. Obviously, you know, with Regisaur Alpha giving haste to our other dinos and then following up with a Ghalta's incredible. Most of the time you're going to be playing this on turn 4, turn 5. Like in a really best case scenario, you can play it turn 4 with haste. That's if you go turn 1 Elf, turn 2 Raptor into Regisaur Alpha, which, woo, now I'm moving the cursor a little bit. But overall, Ghalta's incredible. We love playing Ghalta in this deck. It's a 2-of. You don't want to get too many of them because when you get flooded, Ghalta flooded, it's really bad. It's a dead card. That's why we're only playing 2. Against aggro decks, this card's absolutely incredible. I would say in terms of cards that get sideboarded out the most, Ghalta's probably one of them, but it's not all the time. It really depends on the matchup. Overall, Ghalta, absolutely slam dunk card. Planeswalkers, just one Domri Anarcha Bolas. For those who don't know what it does, starts with 3 loyalty, red, green, 1. Creatures you control get +1/+0. Really good with Ghalta for Ghalta math. You can give 1 loyalty, add red or green. Creature spells you control can't be countered this turn. -2, creatures fight. This card originally, I think, was a 2-of on our last video. We're just down to 1 now. We can't hit it off of a card, actually, I'll talk about here in a second. It's just the 1. It's just the 1. 2 is, if you want to play 2, you know, if you want to cut maybe like an Alpha or a Ceratops, it'd be fine. But I really like the Domri here. Just 1. Just 1. Card's really good. Love playing Domri. So our spells for Commune with Dinosaurs, or as I call it, the Ancient Stirrings for Dinosaurs. 1 green sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a dinosaur or land and put it in your hand, put the rest on the bottom. So Commune with Dinosaurs, really being able to dig deep for the missing pieces in our decks, absolutely incredible. You know, do we have a hand? We have a hand of Land of Wolf, Marauding Raptor, Commune lands. Okay, well, we need a 4-drop or a 5-drop. Okay, you know, play the turn 1 elf, turn 2, we can play the Commune, dig. Oh, hey, look, there's our Ceratops. It really helps fixes our draws. We're short on lands, grab that. Heck, even late game, if you're in a top deck war with a bunch of mana, you know, drawing a Commune's like, okay, fine, let's get the best dinosaur out of our top 5. You know, obviously grabbing like a Carnage Tyrant, grabbing really any of our dinosaurs can be huge. Commune's an awesome card. Love it. I'm kind of shocked that some people don't play this card in Dinosaurs. This card is absolutely bonkers. So, going to our removal package here, we have 2 Reckless Rages. I believe at the time we were playing 4. We're just playing 2 now. There's a lot of removal in this format, but this card's still awesome. Instant, 1 red, deals 4 damage to target creature you don't control, and 2 damage to target creature you control. So I really laugh because this card really started picking up steam, especially before Winota was banned in the format. Everybody was talking about, wow, this card's incredible. Those who follow the channel, we've been playing this card for years. We've been playing this card probably since 2019. So glad to see that everybody else finally caught up to it. But wow, Reckless Rage. Would you look at that? 2 damage to target creature. Wow, look at that. We're playing in Rage. Ripjaw Raptor and Reckless Rage are absolutely best friends in this deck. What's also great too, you know, Marauding Raptor, you can also obviously get the Reckless Rage off that and have Marauding Raptor be alive. It's awesome. We love Reckless Rage. We're playing 2. Then we have 2 Mizzy Mortars. Those who watch my videos, look at my decks, you know how much I love this card. Red and 1, 4 to a creature you don't control. Overload for 6, deal 4 to each creature we don't control. Mizzy Mortars, awesome removal spell. Gets rid of almost every creature in the metagame that we care about for the most part. Just gets them out of the way. Late game, it's a board wipe. I mean, absolutely incredible. We love Mizzy Mortars. Then 1 Shatter Skull Smashing. I think pretty much everybody knows what this card does. For those who don't know, the one side's a land. You can pay 3 life to have it untap, makes red. Other side is red, red, X. Deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, X is doubled. Card's absolutely incredible. I love Shatter Skull Smashing. It's free. I mean, of course, we're going to play Shatter Skull Smashing. We love it. I would say probably, I've actually cast the Shatter Skull Smashing a lot more than people think. We were playing 2, I believe. We're just playing 1 now. Obviously, you know, it is painful when we need it for the land side, so we're just playing the 1. Artifacts, we just have 1. We have Embercleave. So for those who don't remember what this card is, it's red, red 4 for a flash legendary artifact equipment. Costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature we control. When there's a battlefield, attach it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, double strike, and trample. It's just 1. We love Embercleave in this deck. It's just that good, like, get you card. We almost played Collision to Colossus. Collision to Colossus obviously is an incredible card. We decided to play Embercleave. Depending on where the metagame goes, we might switch to Collision to Colossus. But hey, let's say at your metagame there's a lot of pesky spirit decks floating around and you're sick of losing to them. I definitely would play Collision of Colossus. You could honestly play it in the sideboard too. We almost fit it in there, but we couldn't quite. We'll talk about sideboard in a minute here. But I love Embercleave. Just a really good get-you card. We love it. So we're going to the lands. Nothing too crazy, honestly, about it. It's a pretty standard Gruul land list. So we play the 1 Boseiju. Obviously, Boseiju is incredible. Not going to describe it. It's the free land. Of course we're playing Boseiju. Then our dual land, 4 Cragcrown Pathway, 4 Carplusian Forest. Great new addition from Dominator United. And then obviously we have the Stomping Ground. Then our regular lands, we got the 4 Mountain, 2 Lair of the Hydra because we're an aggro deck that's green, and 4 Forest. Pretty simple. Nothing too crazy. We don't even need any of the not the dinosaur land, the tribal lands. What is it? Secluded Courtyard. We don't really need them. I mean, overall, we're pretty much base green, a little bit of red. Absolute most, you'll need 2 red sources to cast your spells, but we really just need 1 most of the time. So that's all we need. Pretty simple. 24 lands if you include the Shatter Skull Smashing. We were playing 23, but with adding the second Carnage Tyrant, we really need to make sure we hit all of our land drops. So we're going to the sideboard. 2 Tormod's Crypt. Gets rid of graveyards and does not, we don't have to devote any of our plan or tempo to getting rid of the graveyard. I really like playing Tormod's Crypt in aggro decks where our curve matters. It's always really awkward when you're spending a turn and you're playing like forgetting the lantern all of a sudden. I feel terrible that I'm forgetting its name. Soul Guide Lantern, there we go. It feels really bad when you're devoting a turn to casting that, or turn 1 when we could be playing a Llanowar Elf or something else. So we really love Tormod's Crypt, awesome card. 1 Grafdigger's Cage. We wanted a little bit more graveyard hate. It's also double dips really well. It can stop the potential flashback spells, like the one that I'm forgetting all of a sudden, Galvanic Relay, I believe. Galvanic Iteration, there we go. Galvanic Relay, that's a different card. But it also really helps against the Collected Company decks. I know it's really debated on if you bring this in against Collected Company, but personally, I mean, hey, if they sit there, because they're not going to think to bring in artifact removal, especially if this is like game 2 or 3, you know, so, I mean, them just sitting there with the best card in their deck in their hand, uncastable, is awesome. So, of course, we're going to play Grafdigger's Cage. 3 Cindervines. I mean, probably the best sideboard card for Gruul that we could possibly play. Red and green for an enchantment. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, Cindervines deals 1 damage to that player. Tap 1, sacrifice it, destroy target artifact or enchantment, deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. I was actually playing this the other day against Abzan Greasefang, absolutely trashing them with this card. I like, Cindervines is awesome. I feel like I bring it in against almost every matchup that's not aggro. I mean, against mid-range, we want it. Heavy artifact enchantment deck, we want it. Against control, we want it. I mean, this card, absolutely incredible. I love playing Cindervines. It does so much heavy lifting. I even bring it in against the red decks. You know, it obviously can get rid of like Eidolon of the Great Revel. It can get rid of Chain to the Rocks. And whenever they play their burn spells, you're also chipping them for 1/2. People think I'm crazy for bringing it in against them, but it's awesome in that matchup. I love it. So then we got 2 Damping Spheres. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces colorless. Instead of that, each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell they've cast this turn. So we really want this in 2 different matchups. We want this against the Nykthos decks, and we want it against a Lotus combo. And I would say Phoenix too. I really like bringing it in against Phoenix. I know at first it seems not good against Phoenix, but when you consider the fact that they have to have 6 mana to return the Phoenixes back, well, 6 mana at minimum. Because if they go cantrip, all at 1 mana, they need 6 mana for that. So I really like bringing it in. It's really good when they're on the Phoenix plan and not the Thing in the Ice plan. Damping Sphere is awesome. We're just playing 2. I would say a lot, like especially the Nykthos deck's probably not a good matchup for us, but it's still something we want to devote to regardless. Because I mean, if they just get one of those hands where they dirtle around with a bunch of elves and don't do anything, then we're just going to turn our dinos sideways and get them. So we're playing 1 Heroic Intervention, green and 1 instant. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Pretty simple. We just want it against the sweepers, mostly against blue-white control. It's just great. It's a great card. I mean, they try to kill anything. Nope. You don't get it. Sorry. That's why we're just playing 1. 2 Mizzy Mortars. We want more removal sometimes, and I think Mizzy Mortars is our best way to be able to remove those creatures. Obviously, it's great. It's flexible. You can just hit 1 creature. You can board wipe once you get to 6 mana. Card's awesome. 1 Roiling Vortex. So, this is a fun one. Red and 1 enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, Roiling Vortex deals 1 damage to them. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, it deals 5 damage to that player. 1 red, your opponents can't gain life this turn. So, Roiling Vortex is really interesting. In ways, it's very similar to Cindervines. Essentially, the reason I'm playing it is just because at my local metagame, there's a lot of like life gain decks. And obviously, we don't want our opponents gaining life. It's also really good against blue-white control. It's very similar to Cindervines in terms of what we bring it in against, but I wanted another effect like that was a little bit different. Honestly, Roiling Vortex, you could argue, could be switched up. For instance, like Collision to Colossus, if you wanted to play that, you could definitely switch that up. Overall, though, I've played a lot of Roiling Vortex. This card is absolutely incredible. Then we have one Anger. We want a sweeper that's efficient. Anger's just the cleanest answer for it. I mean, you could play Sweltering Suns, but essentially, Sweltering Suns is interesting in the sense that, like you can cycle it. I know I play Sweltering Suns in a lot of my decks. I really like it. I just felt like in Gruul Dinosaurs, I feel like Anger of the Gods was just a better efficient card to play. But again, really any 3-mana sweeper you could play in this slot for the most part. We just decided to play Anger of the Gods. And then 2 Rampaging Ferocidon. I love this card. So 3/3 for 3 with Menace. Players can't gain life. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, Rampaging Ferocidon deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. So this actually was in the main board instead of Clothis, but then we decided to swap them a couple months ago. Overall, Rampaging Ferocidon, awesome card. I mean, it was banned in Standard. It's got to be busted, right? So Rampaging Ferocidon is really great against life gain decks, obviously. If we want just more creatures, if we want to be the aggressor, we bring it in, obviously. In terms of playing against other aggro decks, I would say on the play it's very good, but on the draw it tends to not be as good if they have a faster hand, just because with Ferocidon, I mean, sometimes we can get punished, especially if we're trying to play defense and we're taking damage from our own creatures. Obviously, that can be a really big downside, but for the aggressor, we want the Ferocidons. So the card's awesome. I really love Rampaging Ferocidon. This card's put in a lot of work in the sideboard. It's almost mainboard playable. Honestly, if you wanted to maybe take out the Tyrants, go a little bit lower in the curve and play them, you could do that too. If you want to just swap the Ferocidon and the Carnage Tyrant, that's not a bad play either. Rampaging Ferocidon, absolutely incredible card. I love it. Card's awesome. So, as a whole, this is the Gruul Dinos deck. Overall, Gruul Dinos is a really, really fun casual deck I like to play. Obviously, it's very inexpensive too, $218. I mean, most of the cost of the deck is really just in the land base. Overall, the deck's pretty powerful. I've put in a lot of work with this deck in different metagames. I would say it's good matchups. Pretty much every other aggro deck. I would say, since I've been playing this deck, occasionally you'll lose to mono red, but that's about it. I mean, against every other aggro deck, this deck's really good. I would say it's very favorable against mono red. Against the spirits decks, it's really good, I would say. I'm trying to think of other aggro decks. Any like the elves, the goblins, it's going to be really good against those two, because our creatures are just bigger than theirs. They're not going to be able to punch through all of our creatures efficiently, anyways, that is. So I would say it's pretty good there. I would say blue-white control, it's very solid against. I would say I have a winning record and favorable matchup against blue-white control, especially with, obviously, hey, look at that, Shifting Ceratops, Carnage Tyrant, and our sideboard just gets even better too. So I would say it's pretty favorable. The unfavorable matchups, I would say, is black-red midrange. If there's a lot of black-red midrange in your local metagame, maybe refrain from playing this as much. It definitely struggles. I mean, it's definitely very winnable, especially with the 2 Carnage Tyrants we have in the main board now. But I would say it's not favorable. They just have really efficient removal, the hand attack. They're able to just clean up all of our creatures really easily and just outvalue us. So that's probably the one deck it's not very good against. Against the mono green deck, it's really, I would say it's slightly unfavorable, but if you just go Dino, turn them sideways, yeah, you're gonna win. But then there's those games where they're going, turn 3 Cavalier, getting a Nykthos, activating the Nykthos, playing another Cavalier, we're not gonna win that. That's not even gonna be close. If you really want to play this in a metagame with a lot of mono green, probably switch the Mizzy Mortars to Burning Hands to try and get those Cavaliers out of the way. But I would say overall it's not the most favorable matchup. So again, hey, it's not super awesome against a lot of the main metagame, but I think against a lot of other decks it's really good. I know the Gruul Aggro, Gruul Vehicles deck has been picking up a lot recently, so if you're looking to maybe play an alternative to that, you could definitely give Gruul Dinos a shot. The deck's really, really fun to play, catches people off guard, but once people start figuring out the deck a little bit, it does get a little tougher. You really got to work for your wins. So, well, that's Gruul Dinos. This is obviously our Pioneer list. I want to say that most of this is legal to play and explore, except for maybe the Mizzium Mortars. But other than that, I think everything else you can perfectly play on Arena. As always, if you want to check out the list, I'm going to put it in the comment section, not the comment section, I'm going to put it in the description below of that. If you want to see me play the deck in action, I think I have a somewhat not super recent video of me playing it on Arena, but I will put that also the link if you want to check that video out. As always, again, much appreciated if you like, share the video. We love it. I love seeing that people are watching my videos. You know, makes me feel like, oh, hey, you know, people actually want to watch my jank decks. So I really appreciate it, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your day.